All right, we're on Kung Ho Park, Kung Hong Resort. It's one of the holes in the Spring Major. I'm going to have to say that real slow in order to get it right, or I'm going to pronounce it different every single time. So we're on hole number 6. This video that I'm going to post here was from the Pro Tees, but from the Ricky Tees or the Pro Tees, I really don't. It's not, the shot's not going to be any different other than like what you can achieve just for a distance. But we're going to have to bounce over from this spot and run through this neck. This screams big topper just because you can get far out there with your big topper, but your big topper's super inaccurate and you're going through this very narrow neck right down here. And if you could hit this shot right and end up clipping, where's my pen? You could hit this shot right here right, but end up, anywhere out here you're going to be fine. But when you get onto the other side, I don't think there's enough. From the Pro Tees, the red line was right down in this area with a Titan. So there might be enough room to get over. I haven't played this on the Ricky from the Ricky Tees yet. There might be enough room to get over with an extra mile, but you might not be able to get over with a big topper. So you may have to bounce over here and then run through this neck. So it could be a dangerous shot. Now, if you could get up here into your short iron range, wherever your short iron starts, it might be worth the risk. But I would have to check the red lines down here to see, where you can get with what ball. In the video, I shoot from the second tees with an extra mile, and I think I end up somewhere right down in this area, right in the middle of that neck. I'm sure you're probably going to have to get, I think from here I'm shooting with a wood. I was shooting that with a wood, so the best you might be looking at down here would be a long iron. Probably to get into your short iron range, you'd have to be down into this range. So any way you look at it, from the Pro Tees or from the Ricky Tees, let me put my pen over on the right side. From the Pro Tees here or the Ricky Tees here, I think you're probably going to have to do the bounce over. You might be able to from the Ricky to get over, but I'm not sure what that would net you on the end down here when you get done. If you go through a lot of risk and you do any overpower to start off on this side to get through, I think we'd have to find out where the red line is for the short iron. It's got to be somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, you'd have to get all the way down there. You could do that probably with a big topper in Ricky. In Expert, you're probably looking at getting somewhere in this neighborhood unless you're going to bring a bigger ball. Now, with a big topper, I would have been able to get a lot more distance out of it. But once again, it's very inaccurate going through that neck. My shot coming in, I believe, was with a wood. My opponent did what I think is a pretty viable shot on this if you're playing an Expert, is just they didn't do it on purpose. They were trying to get more distance, but they did clip the rough down here and they ended up short just landing on this pad. So instead of trying to get through that neck, if you've got super inaccurate clubs, bring a big dog or an upper level Cataclysm if your Cataclysm's higher level than your big dog, but more than likely your big dog you can get maxed out pretty quick, so it's going to go up in levels pretty fast, and it has a lot of stuff on it. The only thing it doesn't have is ball guide, but it has everything else. It's got a lot of other stuff. And you'll have to bounce from this side here and then bring it back around to the hole. Whereas if you can get out into this area, you got a pretty straight shot. If you've got an upper level sniper will work good on this, but I think I was using more backspin than anything else, so a Guardian will work really well on this because you can get really close to the hole. And if you bring a really big ball, I would definitely want to play this with a 3-power ball all the way. All right, let's go watch the video and see what I did here. Let me turn the volume down. All right. So my opponent's got one of the special balls. They've got an extra mile level 6. You can see where the red line is right there. So that's what I'm saying. From the Ricky Tees, you can probably get over. So from the Ricky Tees, you probably can get all the way up to the front, especially if you bring a big topper. My opponent's trying to get over. With a bigger ball. I don't know, that might be a 5-power ball. So I'm going to try this with an extra mile on a Titan. We don't need a lot of side spin here. So in the tournament, we'll probably get wind for us that's going with us. We'll probably get tailwind. And it looks like this is one of those bounce over areas where it carries a little bit farther than the ball guide goes. I would definitely want to leave myself at least 2 rings down here. So our opponent's on their orange ring. I would definitely leave that many rings. Or me, I would definitely leave that many rings. And I definitely left that many rings. Hitting it perfect. Let's see where it lands. It landed well back, so it doesn't carry. So you could probably push the issue down there in that spot and just be 1 ring off. It looks like it was pretty true. So my opponent's in their Cataclysm range, right towards max club. And even I've got some distance, but I've got to go further in order to get around this peninsula. That contour in the water and the sand right there, I have to get further forward. You could easily get on from over there. That was a good layup shot, but you could easily work that shot out and get a lot closer. You see where my red line is with my Guardian. Now what I should have did here is I should have pulled, like the red line, I pull back a little. I was trying to judge that distance, but I didn't pull back enough. I should have pulled it forward towards me, at least another ring, and maybe just a little bit to the right, and then tried to work that out with the ball. I might have had less backspin, less topspin. You can see I didn't pull it back far enough, and I was 2 rings into power. So I had to put on 2 rings here. Rubbing up against the nubs is 1 ring, so I was trying to duplicate that and just do a 2-ring pull. 2-ring overpower, and it landed right where I wanted it to. Now, I'm not sure if going to the left right there, I have to go back and watch the wind. If going to the left right there was a product of I didn't adjust enough for the wind, or I adjusted too much for the wind, or if it was just because I had to use overpower. It's not good to try and get your shots and judge perfect shots when you're doing overpower. Our opponent chips it in for eagle. This seems like it's going to be a pretty easy hole to eagle, a pretty consistent eagle, because you don't have to get far out there. But that's 2 different ways, 2 different looks of the same shot. Let's pause that. And go back to... So that's 2 different looks at the same shot, but so if you do the layup down here, you can still get on doing the bounce over. If you get a little bit further up on the neck, you bring a big enough ball, you can use a Guardian to get you over on the other side to bring it in. If you've got a high enough level sniper that's got a lot of backspin, you can do the same thing. But that's kind of 2 different ways of looking at it. It's probably a safer shot, depending on your clubs that you have in your bag, to just lay it up down here. And you could probably get the best of both worlds by bringing a QB with a really big ball. Your red line for your start's going to be over here, but it's got a lot of topspin. And just try and bring that ball around here so that you have your best accurate club when it gets out into this area. So our opponent was right there, and I was up in this area right here. So I was more towards the middle, but coming this way with a Guardian, my red line was right on the other side of that so that I could come straight in at it. Whereas down here, you're having to do the bounce over, and this is definitely big dog Cataclysm area territory for distance-wise. So if you wanted to get kind of in the middle of that, you'd be able to come out a little bit over on when you got to the green side as far as your landing zone. The shot that I took put me more up here towards the top of this peninsula. Whereas if you're in the middle, you're going to be right in this area coming in, so you have a little bit more maneuverability room. If you don't have a high level Guardian, but you've got a sniper, you've got an accurate club that's got good ball guide, the further down this slope right here you hit it going straight towards the hole, the more you can do the run and the less you can do the backspin. Whereas if you're up here, you're going to have to do more backspin to get to the hole. Once you get past this point right here, where you're that far back in the ball flight, if you draw a line from the green to that, if you're back down in this bottom area down here, you're going to be dealing more with a possible bounce over, just from distance wise, just on how much distance you lost. There's a breaking point somewhere where if you go back too far in this direction with this area, you'll have to use this as a hop, skip, and a jump to get over, because you'll lose so much distance as opposed to being up in this area. But somewhere down here there's a break-even point, and it's probably somewhere about where this line's at. So if you did the quarterback shot, you could probably end up somewhere in this area and still be able to bring it on and have a sniper on the back end, which has got much better ball guide, and be able to dribble it in as opposed to try and use more backspin. That is a way to do it. This upper shot up here, I believe, is one of those areas that the greenskeepers are always pissed that they have to mow this area because nobody uses it. But if you did use the upper area, you'd want to get out there as far as you can. You'll probably have to use this point out here as a hop, as is where you're looking at your red line. So you'd want to pick your club accordingly. It looks to me like you'd have enough run-in going to the green that this would definitely be a spot for something that's got great ball guide. So once again, but I don't think I'm going to ever hit to this area when I have so many more options. Like if you draw the line from this landing spot, if you got all the way to the end to the green versus being here to the green, they're about the same. This is probably a little shorter. But if you can get up into this area right here with a Guardian, you can get past that peninsula with a Titan, and that'll make this a pretty easy hole. All right, that was hole number 6 of the Spring Major from the Pro Tees. Thanks for watching.